So, first thing we need to discuss is what order are we doing these in? So, Nick, you said yours was quite short.
Yeah, mine's quite short and quite funny at the end. So...
Sound like your sex life.
Hey!
Hey! I haven't got to the funny at the end bit.
Oh.
Throughout every fic I've been reading, I've had problems with trying to read Aragorn's name correctly because I keep reading it as Agron. And I just keep thinking of the Pokemon and I go, huh?
Agron.
Who?
The king
Agron,
of
son of
Gondor.
Agron. Use fucking Earthquake. It's like, what?
I mean,
What's going on?
So here's a fun game.
That could be an interesting fanfic combination.
Yeah.
You should
could,
just replace Aragorn with Agron for him, but everything else stays the same.
Agron, what do you think?
And they're
Agron, what do you think we should do?
Obviously, there's three films, so and he evolves twice. I think does Agron, so he's a different one in each film.
Agron.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Agrarion.
Oh, funny.
And Argrion.
It's either that or he's Agron because he's thick as fuck.
Yes and yes.
You know, he's just like this dumbass.
Okay, I've got a new game for us to play in that case.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to type some names from Lord of the Rings into the chat, and I'd like Grace to try and pronounce them.
Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't.
So...
I was trying to read Dwarvish earlier. I made a fucking right shit out of that, and you're going to hear me...
Well, yeah, Dwarven's a whole language. Like, Tolkien wrote 2 entirely new languages.
Tolkien's a fucking nerd, and he needs to calm down.
He wrote more than 2, to be fair.
Well, yeah, he was a professor of linguistics. That's his thing.
Jesus Christ. Do you ever hear about other people doing things? And on one hand, you're like, wow, such accomplished intellect. And on the other hand, you're just like, what a dumbass. What have you done that for?
Grace, Tolkien inspired a whole
common.
genre. He's really widely respected.
Tonight, in this episode, Grace calls Tolkien a dumbass.
I'm arrogant and ignorant, and therefore I said what I said. You're welcome.
Some fucking bellend from the Fens calls an accomplished linguistics professor and fantasy author, arguably the fantasy author, a fucking dumbass.
A big nerd.
A big nerd and
He's
a dumbass.
A big nerd.
Have you got anything to say to C.S. Lewis while we're at it?
A bit too much substance abuse in showing through in your work. Mate. Tone it down, bro. You needed like a week just to like cleanse.
Tonight, on the shipping forecast, Grace reveals that the Chronicles of Narnia resulted from C.S. Lewis getting stoned and reading the fucking Bible.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I was told that he...
Hold on, Grace, before you continue, are you thinking of Lewis Carroll?
What did...
Writer of Alice in Wonderland?
Yes, I am.
There
Okay.
we go.
Okay, good.
Okay, needless to say...
I'm glad I caught on to that before you started tracking C.S. Lewis.
I wasn't sure. I was just like, I'm pretty sure that sounds like the right name. So, either way, okay, right. I think it's a general rule that anything I say, you just don't take seriously. It's just... full of fucking shit.
I'll stick to asking you about dead authors.
I
don't want George R.
don't ask
Martin
me about real
filing a
ones,
lawsuit.
I don't know anyway. It's like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm too cool for school, you know? I'm not even literate. I don't even know why you got me reading things, you know what I mean?
Tonight on the shipping forecast, Grace fights J.K. Rowling. She's in the studio today.
Oh my god.
They're gonna have a scrap.
To be fair, I'd pay to see that.
Not her and Shakira. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
For anyone confused by that, go back and listen to season 1, where Grace starts a feud with Shakira.
I don't know what that was about.
It's
What was that
Well,
about?
Shakira doesn't forget, and she's coming.
Yeah, them hips don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shut up.
Those hips don't lie, those fists don't miss.
Well, thankfully both our breasts are sworn humble, so they're not confused with the mountains. So, you know, shit lyrics. Shut up. Right, okay.
Wow. before we begin, is there anyone else you want to start a feud with?
No.
Like, you've upset
right,
Tolkien.
I'm here to start a feud with everyone in the fucking Lord of the Rings fandom because I already seem to have found my way down that path through trying to dig myself out of holes and just being purely ignorant of everything. Right, you sent me a name, Thranduil.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Because that's the one.
Is that it?
That's the one I read wrong, to be honest.
Thranduil. Thranduil?
Thranduil, yeah. I'd say it like that.
I thought his name was Thrandal.
Yeah, that
What,
works.
like Randall?
Brandel.
Yeah, like Randall.
Randall and
I don't
Randall.
know, I've always seen it spelt with a A? D-A-L? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Yes.
Okay.
honestly, a Thrandal.
Who's this guy? Who's this
A
guy?
Thrandal sounds like some sort of piece of 18th century farming equipment.
Well, who is Thranduil?
It's Legolas's
Who is
dad,
Thranduil?
Yeah.
maybe.
I thought Thranduil, or whatever it was, Legolas's dad.
Oh, so I'm confusing the two now. Never mind.
Oh god.
The one I
okay,
typed
alright.
was Legolas's
Alright, send
dad.
me another one.
We shouldn't might be doing this because he's our fucking lore expert after all.
Yeah,
should.
how dare you?
I'm just the one with Google to hand.
Fair enough.
Galadriel.
What?
Galadriel. No. Shit, it's Galadriel.
Hey!
Yes.
Hey, okay.
Oh,
5 times out of 10, you know. Right, okay.
I'm just looking for other names you might find hard.
Oh, he's doing this on purpose.
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. Celeborn. No. Celeborn? Like Kellogg's, but birthed.
I'll give you bonus points if you know who this is.
No. I don't fucking know. The dog?
The dog.
Wait,
No.
so, I don't remember any dogs in Lord of the Rings.
I just got this feed. You're the kind of person who'd line me up for a trick question out of the blue.
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean?
I've just
Like-
got this brilliant image in my head now of like, you have my sword and my bow and my axe. Woof.
So, if any authors listening, I would like to read a fic that is Clifford the Big Red Dog joining the Fellowship.
Alright, who is this guy?
He's the guy who, you know the song, They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard mix?
Yes.
He's the one who goes, "Tell me, where is Gandalf, for I much desire to speak with him."
Oh, fuck's sake. I don't...
I'm
I
sure
actually
he
thought
has
you were
more
going
roles.
somewhere else with that, Jim.
You know, I debated to watch all of Lord of the Rings at some point over the week, and I kept putting it off. And you know what? I'm glad I did, because this is bullshit.
Hey!
Oh, hang on.
Bit harsh. Okay.
If anybody from the Tolkien estate would like to send Grace hate mail, please write into the fanshippingforecast
Yes,
at
please.
gmail.com.
To be fair, I deserve it.
That's
I'm being
my-
horrible
Okay.
today. I feel horrible today because it's beautiful weather out here, and I'm underprepared. I've had the fucking fuzz at my door, and I'm sat in here listening to you cunts taking the piss
Okay.
out of me.
I have one more question, Grace. I'm not going to write.
Okay,
Who is Bill?
pardon?
Bill.
There is a character called Bill.
That's the most normal name in this whole fucking...
Who is Bill?
Who is Bill?
So if it's the most
I don't
normal
know.
name, you think he's just a normal human then?
I don't know who Bill
I don't know
is.
who Bill is.
Oh.
Why not?
He's one of the bravest characters in the film.
He is, to be
But
fair.
if he died in the first 5 minutes, and I definitely
He
don't know
didn't.
who
They
he
sent
is.
him home.
Sent home.
Yeah, he went home on his own,
They
bless
sent him home.
Yeah.
Did. His full name is Bill the Pony.
Bill the pony.
Yes.
Any guesses who he is?
Was he a pony?
Yeah, he is.
Well done.
Fucking hell.
Okay, I think that's all we have time for on today's Lord of the Rings quiz. We'll just put these in randomly for Grace in future to see.
I hate you.
But anyway, Grace, what have you been reading?
Right, what have I been reading? Aha, as you can tell, well, you can't tell because you're behind a screen, but my notes are messier than normal and written over some other notes in pencil. So, I'm going to try my very best to read my own very hastily written writing and present to you something of relatively coherent quality.
Do you know what, Grace? You don't have to tell on yourself like that. Like, everything can be edited to make us not look like bellends.
I wouldn't go that
Honesty
far.
is the best policy.
Well, to be fair, Jim, you do a
and I
pretty
can
good job
only
of that.
apologise.
You do a pretty good job of, like, making us not sound like bellends.
There are limits
Yes,
to
he
my
does.
power.
I'll tell you what I have had a problem with. Like, when looking them up, is like, I wasn't expecting the language them all to be written in to be so similar to how they're written in Lord of the Rings, which sounds stupid because that's probably like the first thing you should expect. It's like everything's in quite eloquent English, and it's just like, I don't understand. They're not abbreviating things. They're writing in full sentences. This is all too much. No wonder the word counts are so long. It's like an essay. Oh, it's also eloquent, and it's just like, oh god.
That's
I mean,
the
good on
weirdest
them,
complaint
but
I've heard
bloody
thus
hell.
far. Like, oh, it's too eloquent. I can't do it.
No, it is. Like, I'm too fucking.
Put some text speak in, for God's
I'm
sake.
too much of a scumbag to like understand higher education, like analytical writing and shit. I'm not good at it. Right, either way, let's get on with it.
Okay.
Okay. This is called If You Can't Draw on Your Sleeping Friend's Face, Are You Even Friends? And it's by ErinacchiLove. And it's basically Gimli experiences true elven sleep for the first time. And because none of the three hunters have any chill, things escalate. I've got a question. Do you know what true sleep is?
The elven true sleep.
Elven true sleep. Is this real? Is my first question. Is this canon?
Speaking as your Tolkien expert,
Yeah.
I got
We're
fucking
asking.
clue.
Oh.
Oh my god, man!
I
Why are you
imagine
on
it's
it?
like-
You had one job.
So elves are known for their kind of wonderful,
And they're quite
like,
serene
lovely cities
people,
they
really,
built,
aren't they?
right?
You know.
I reckon they build extra comfy beds. Yeah, that's what I reckon the true sleep is. It's just like a really comfy mattress.
Okay, so we'll go into what the true sleep is
Yeah,
as we go
okay.
down.
I noticed that.
There's also Giggleless, which it took me. I thought it was. I realise now that that's the ship name of Gimli. Like, I thought it meant that Legolas is a gigolo, and that's.
Glad they made it giggleless because
I'm sure there's
Gigolo
a fix
Legolas
for
is
that.
kind
I'm
of
gonna
hard
have
to
a look
say.
later.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
So that's given away what the relationship is, and it's
Checks out.
it's a relationship
They
between
do love
Gimli
each other, so
and Legolas.
Okay. Well, he's the right height for it.
yes.
Am I right in believing that Gimli is the and my
Yes.
axe?
Yeah, I believe the word you're looking for there is dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just that specific dwarf. That's hilarious. The height difference must be extraordinary. Okay, so this has just made this fic even more funny.
Hold
me.
on, you didn't realise he was the
I shouldn't
dwarf
laugh
before.
I don't know why I'm laughing at people being short and stout, but here we are.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's the pairing. It's just like really, really stocky
If you
person
watched
versus
the
the
film,
complete
you would
opposite.
understand.
I'm sure they've got a bond stronger than iron.
Yeah, there's a whole sort of bromance
Yeah,
thing going on
there's
there.
that really wholesome scene at the end where it's like, I never thought I'd fight side by side with an elf. It's like, how about side by side with a friend? And then they kiss. It's very sweet.
Bollocks to them.
No, they don't actually kiss.
They don't actually kiss, but I reckon you'll be able to find a fic where they do.
I think that's where we are now.
Yeah, probably.
Considering most of the fics I was looking through was this ship, I can believe it. Okay. So, epic friendship is a tag.
Oh.
And it's funny because they're married, so it's like...
Well... So, Mike, you're the only one here who's married.
Yep.
Would you describe marriage as an epic friendship?
Well, no, you just hate each other more when you get married.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
That's a shame.
Take notes.
You only did the wedding for the party, didn't you?
Well, I think I said to you like before, I made a profit on the buffet. I'm not even kidding. I was about 200 quid up. No, people come and they give you like money as like, good luck, blah blah blah. Yeah, I was about 200 quid up on the amount of people came versus how much food I bought. So I might do it again in a couple of years.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, get your vows renewed, and then you'll make another 200 quid. Okay, so Mike's now our expert on Lord of the Rings and marriage law.
Yeah.
And romance, of course.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah.
Flipping profits on your own wedding.
Wow.
Sorry, love. Hang on. I'm making deals with the father.
Hey, you can't hate the hustle.
No,
No.
no, I can't.
It's all about the hustle. All right.
Yeah, so tell us about this fic.
Okay, so it starts with Gimli waking up, and he's got a pleasant ache in his limbs, which is a classic fanfic writing for he had sex the previous night and he's still a bit sore.
I've never heard it called pleasant ache before.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it written down so many times, in fact. And it's not a criticism, it's obviously like a thing the fandom has picked up, and it feels like a kind of honorary description that's got to be used. You know, like the Scream in all that films, there's that one really terrible one. I feel like it's one of them.
Oh, the
It's
Wilhelm.
one of those fanfic tropes.
Yeah, the Wilhelm Scream.
Yeah.
And I know what they mean. It's like when you wake up the next morning and you don't have work and you got laid the night before, and it's like your significant other sleeping next to you. It's like, yeah, this is all right.
Also, so it's not a physical ache. It's a mental ache.
It's a little bit of both, depending on how vigorous you were the night before.
Alright, because I can't imagine aching being pleasant, because I sort of wake up with a bad back. I'm like, fuck this.
No, this ache is in his limbs.
Yeah.
So it's his arms and legs, like,
Well,
Well, there might have been doggy style. You might have
What
tied out
happened
his
to his
sides.
arms and legs?
Yeah.
That can't have been the bit being used here.
It
I
may have
don't
just been
know.
a powerful hand job that he gave.
I think it just sounds more poetic than waking up
And
with an
for a
asshole like
hand
a
job.
fucking cherry tomato. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
That's very true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Oh my god. Okay, it had been his wedding night the night before, which is probably why. And he sort of hears snoring, and he's like, he's snoring. He's like, why the fuck is an elf snoring? Like, what? He doesn't sleep, does he? And he looks around, and there's Legolas. He's sort of like splayed all over the place. He's like drooling, and he's snoring. And I imagine he's making these fucking horrible noises, just like. Because he's described as it's probably the most inelegant time he's ever seen him in his life. He's like, because Legolas is like he's an elf. Oh, I'm an elf. I'm all magical, and my hair always flows. It never has a knot in, and like I'm always pristine. And he's just like strewn about, looking like a piece of shit.
Hey.
It's like, oh no. And he goes to like wake him, and he's God, I've got to read this. Give a shillelagh, he says.
Wow.
He gives it. Why aren't you waking up? He's not waking up, and he's like, oh, right. But he's still snoring. So it can't be that wrong with him. And so he's not too worried, but he's like, oh, I better fucking ask someone what the hell's going on here. So he gets up and puts his clothes on. His beard's a fucking mess, and he goes, oh well, who to look for? Oh no, I'll ask Aragon. I'll ask Aragon.
Yeah.
Aragorn? That's even worse. I've been correcting myself wrong the whole time, and only now you decide to tell
Not
me.
really correcting yourself, then, is it? Hey.
Okay. I guess the easy way to remember it, think of Henry VIII's wife, Catherine of Aragon.
Catherine of
I know,
Aragon.
but I like
Yeah,
to imagine
for
her
fuck's sake.
coming like through the door. Like, oh. Just imagine
is a
Viggo
shambles.
Mortensen playing Henry VIII's wife, and that's how I remember.
Can we
So
get a
it's
film like that?
Aragorn.
Yeah.
Aragon, yes.
Aragorn.
Aragon, son of Arathorn.
It's only Aragon when he's left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
Oh,
good.
that might be the episode title.
Oh, fuck's sake.
So he goes to see Aragorn.
Jesus. Either way, he's looking around, he's going, oh, fucking hell, where is he? Asks the guard, where is he? And he's like, oh, he's over there. And he's like, oh, thank you kindly. But at this point, I'm not sure if, like... Also, I've got a friend in the north who says thank you kindly all the time. And I think you do as well, James. And you look like a dwarf. And I can't tell it's because you're both Lord of the Rings fans. You're just Yorkshire.
I don't know.
Could be both.
I've never thought of that.
Like, where did you get it from first? People
I don't
in the
know.
north or
Do you
Lord
track
of the
every
Rings?
phrase that you pick up in life?
Yes. I'm very methodical.
Well, that's weird.
Yes. No, I don't.
Okay,
But
good.
I don't know.
I cannot answer this question.
I feel like Lord of the Rings has been around. So, I mean, do they actually say "thank you kindly" in Lord of the Rings? That's probably a better question.
Probably.
Oh,
I'm sure a
no.
I
hobbit
don't
said
recall,
it.
I don't recall it in the film.
Yeah. I only remember the important
Yeah, well,
phrases like "You shall not pass,"
Oh, all right.
and they're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Shut up.
And potatoes.
Boil and mash them, stick them in a stew.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Anyway,
You can tell you've not watched Lord of the Rings, Grace.
Well, I have seen it. It was just a very long time ago.
actually no. Best
Very,
line.
very long time ago.
Best weird line out of nowhere. There's this bit where Sam is just saying in slow motion, "Share the load."
And thus 1,000 fanfics
Yeah, I'm
were
surprised
born.
we've not seen anything
Oh.
about this. Share the load.
I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he gets up and he's like, he finds him. He fucking finds him. And he goes, it's Legolas, there's something going on, I don't understand. He goes, what ails Legolas? So it's like, fuck, best I show you, laddie. You know,
Oh, Grace, you can't
I
not
can't
do a Scottish
find the words to
accent for that.
explain. You
You
what?
can't. He's saying laddie. You've got to use a Scottish accent.
Oh, don't give me that.
Yeah,
I can't even say their names right. You're asking too much.
it's best I show you, laddie.
Well, alright, there, go on then, you cunt. You just wanted to say that.
No,
so
I
I'll
wanted
show
you
me
to
now.
do
Shut up.
it in a sketchy Sean Connery accent, if possible.
Oh my, he's not even played by Sean Connery, mate.
Ah, actually, I think it was Gandalf was going to be played as Sean Connery.
Yeah, originally.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Really?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's
That would have been a different
that's
film.
very different.
And Nick Cage was going to play
Yeah.
Aragorn.
Mid-battle rips his shirt off.
No, no, he fucking wasn't. Are you serious?
I'm deadly
Inter-
serious.
I want to see this film.
Interesting
Wait,
little
what?
bit of trivia here is, Sean Connery said he didn't do it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
He went to do that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
Oh
instead,
shit!
right? No,
Oh, wow.
but what's interesting here as well is, the guy who plays Dorian Gray in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was originally cast as Aragorn.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, because they replaced him last minute with Viggo Mortensen, because they said he was too young.
Yeah.
They both shot out on that. One,
Yeah,
didn't
but
they?
Connery turned it down. The other Gadget was on the project. He got his costume and everything, and like a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months prior to filming, they got rid of him and replaced him.
Oh, man.
I mean, they made the right
Aw.
choice.
You imagine that as like a life-changing thing for a fucking actor.
Yeah.
I bet he's kind of bitter about
Oh
it.
yeah, fucking. Alright.
I would be, because I don't think I've seen him in anything else since then.
No.
Oh no. We're gonna have to look into his cinematography and
I'm
hope that
gonna
he's
look into
planted
it.
something.
No.
At least
Yeah.
once.
I'm pretty sure it's called Stuart Townsend.
Stuart Townsend.
Hey, it fucking is as well.
Nice.
Yeah, he's done other stuff just now.
For me, it came up with someone
no.
called Ben Barnes, but I think that might be a different Dorian Gray. Oh yeah, it is. Never mind.
Yeah. This is Stuart Townsend, who was Gadget, was cast as Aragorn.
Oh yeah, I see him.
Bless him.
Yeah, honestly, I never knew that.
Yeah.
You see, you learn things on this
Well,
show.
it's good you've got a Tolkien
Sometimes.
expert here, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
you can tell us
right,
about
right.
the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is a banger of a film. For anyone who's
Yeah,
not
as
seen
well.
it.
But not whether true
It's
sleep
not Lord of the
exists or not.
Rings. By no stretch is it as good as Lord of the
I
Rings.
also, to be fair to that movie, it's not a bad fucking film.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a brilliant film.
Hang on, should
Oh,
I go back to my fic or what's going on?
Yeah.
Yes,
sorry,
yes,
yeah.
we should.
Alright.
Sorry for getting
Alright.
tangented.
No, that's okay.
It happens to the best of us.
It does. So they show up and he's like, fucking look at it, and he's like trying not to laugh because he looks at Legolas like fucking all over the shop. You know, at the wedding night, you'd have thought they'd both, like, he'd have been fucking naked all over the place. But I reckon he's the kind of person who would, like, do the deed and then straight put his, like, mint green silk pyjamas straight back on. You know what I mean?
Like, clean himself up. Yeah.
I don't know, it just strikes me as the type. And then he's gone into hibernation.
Yeah, probably right.
I can
Yeah,
believe
so he's
that.
like, that's just elven truth. They don't need to sleep often, but when they do, they're, like, knocked out for a couple of days.
Oh,
And it's like, alright. So, yeah.
days.
And they sort of look at him for a minute, and they sort of turn to each other, and they're just like, shall we draw on his face? And he's like, yeah. Yeah, fuck it. So Lord of the Rings now sort of turns into one of those like 13-year-old sleepover parties where they're just like, oh, get the ink. So Aragorn is just going off and they're sort of giggling to each other, you know, got like a quill and shit or a brush or whatever. Like, yeah, here we go. But let's give him some glasses or I'm gonna give him a beard. You know, yeah. You know, I think my father would actually approve him now. He's got a beard and all that shit. And Aragorn's like drawing a dick on his head, and it's like, oh yeah, there we go.
That's brilliant.
He's
so,
there like,
yeah.
oh, I pity our friend.
like the night
like,
before.
yeah.
As he draws a dick on his forehead.
Yeah, oh, I pity him. Ha 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 ha.
I think
Apparently they woke the entire citadel up with their consummation. And he's like, no wonder you wore Legolas out. And he's like, oh, yeah. Alright.
I mean, yeah, I can't see
Either
Gimli
way.
being quiet in any situation.
No,
not at all.
that's just not something I want to think about. Either way, Legolas wakes up 2 whole days later, no grogginess, he's completely fine. And, you know, he's quite happy, he struts into the bathroom. And he looks at his face in the mirror, and, like, there was not a soul in Minas Tirith who could not hear his scream.
Or maybe Legolas was the loud one that night then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like, if he's screeching like a banshee, then...
He fucking loves it.
And he's like, oh, forgive us, San Malek, which translates to perfect half, apparently.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? I've just noticed the notes at the bottom. The Gava Shillelagh or whatever thing I was trying to say earlier means treasure of all treasures, so it's very sweet. I just wish I could pronounce shit. Right, okay. And it's like, oh, Aragorn is like, oh, we couldn't resist. And it's like, why did I even marry you? Why am I even friends with you? Having a little fucking hissy fit. He's like, and then they just sort of break into that, and they're like, they're just creasing. Oh god! And he's like trying to like wash all the ink off his face before Merry and Pippin like come anywhere, and he's like, "Fucking get this off." And that's how it ends. You're welcome.
So, having been a victim of a similar sort of prank,
Yes, I thought of you when I read this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad that that this sort of shit goes on in Middle Earth as well.
So my main question is, they went on. They just got married, right? They're consummating the wedding.
Yeah.
Why did they visit Aragorn? So like, are they not on their honeymoon?
I think this was the day like after all the battling and shit was over.
Okay, so they would have been
Yeah,
travelling if
Minas
Legolas
Tirith.
had not decided to have a true sleep.
Yeah, he didn't like do a cross-country tour just to get his mate over to ask him why his
Okay.
boyfriend's still asleep.
Good.
I mean, his husband's still asleep.
Gimli wakes up and sort of like 9 days later, arrives at the walls of Minas Tirith and is like, "Okay, Aragorn,
Come, our mission is
come fucking
is
see. This is hilarious."
borrow Shadowfax to sort of travel on this one.
No, they're in Minas Tirith.
No, I get you.
So they've had the wedding and shit and consummated the marriage, and now they're in. The probably in Minas Tirith. Lovely place to have a wedding.
Oh, I don't know. I've never been, mate.
Yeah, I'd probably go for the Shire. You know,
Oh, that'd be nice for the
Yeah.
honeymoon, I reckon. Nice and peaceful.
I'd assume that's where they're going
know.
for the honeymoon.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a knock on the door from the neighbours going, "You're not allowed to do it. It's a Sunday." Or something stupid, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
Oh dear.
Though I don't think Gimli would enjoy the Shire as a place for a honeymoon. He'd want a mine. They're going to be very
Oh
conflicted.
yeah, definitely.
A mine.
Yeah.
Dwarfs do it with the lights
I
on.
don't know. Dwarves and hobbits have always kind of
Okay.
got along.
I always thought.
And also, let's be fair, hobbits have got a lot of fucking food, and a lot of
That's
fucking
true.
fireweed. Which
Yeah.
dwarves
Yeah.
do.
They got,
Hashtag talking
fuck's
this
sake.
guy.
They got a lot of food and a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
That'll
hobbits are
please
known
most
for their
people.
weed.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that's just a dwarf hobbit thing.
Oh, there's that bit where Saruman accuses Gandalf of having spent too much time on the hobbit weed, or something like that.
Yeah.
You've been smoking those leaves that the hobbits grow too much, and it's sort of made you soft.
I think that's maybe how the Hobbit came about. Like Gandalf's on his own smoking one day and thinking, "Do you know what'd be the funniest thing ever? Getting this fucking homebody to go on a quest with some dwarves to reclaim a fucking mountain from a dragon."
Is that not what happened?
That is pretty much what happened.
Exactly.
But no, this is good. I like this.
Oh shit, hang on. Yeah, I should probably
You
summarise
should,
that.
yeah.
Yes, because we always do a little conclusion at the end, should we remember, which we're supposed to do. I found the relationship incredibly sweet. The dynamic was lovely. It was very nice to sort of see quite a relatable, well, maybe not the fantasy setting bit relatable, but like the
as a
dynamics
dwarf, I
of
find this
everything was
incredibly
going on
relatable.
Yeah, exactly. As as a dwarf, I find
As someone who can sleep for 2 days straight, I also find this relatable.
Jimmy's part elf, part dwarf.
A lot of us find it fun and nostalgic because we have also had the pain of having some friend of ours decide to draw all over our face, but have also been the people to have drawn all over our friends' faces. And we're like, ha, yes. Who here... Okay, I've got a question. Who here has had the glasses, the knob, and the moustache all in one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The drawings on your face. What do you think I mean?
No, that was definitely me at one point.
Yeah? James?
I've done it to someone. I don't think I've had it done.
What, have you never had someone draw on
Don't
your
think
face?
so.
Oh man, right. We know what's happening next time we're down
Good
there.
luck.
Yeah.
I'm a light sleeper.
Yeah.
Don't matter, a hypnol can knock you out. Right.
No wonder the police visited your house, Grace.
Look, they're not after me!
All of these active threats
Fucking
you
hell.
keep making on a recording.
It's actually a list.
So-
It's a listener who called them in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to file this on things which may be used later as an evidence in court.
Oh my god.
But yes, thank you, ErinacchiLove. I enjoyed this. Very cute.
Yeah,
and
it was
wholesome.
good.
It was
good
lovely
fun.
and wholesome. Yeah.
So,
Please make more.
Nick, what have you been reading?
I have been reading something called Bilbo Baggins Has Something to Say
Okay.
by Salvia_G.
Mhm.
The relationship is Bilbo Baggins and Thorin Oakenshield.
Hey.
So
Hey!
our favourite sort of brunette in sweater and dark brooding dwarf.
Mm-hmm. This
So-
is not the first one we covered.
No, it isn't. You're right. This is very much in universe, though. The summary says, as the title says, Bilbo Baggins has something to say, and Thorin Oakenshield had better listen.
And this is by Saliva G.
Salvia G.
Salvia G. I cannot read today.
I've done that. I've done that bit.
This is not off
Did
to a
that
good
bit so you
start.
don't have to.
Apologies,
you
Salvia
corrected
G.
it wrong.
I did that bit already, so you didn't
Oh,
have
thank
to.
you.
I was trying
That's
to
just
save you a
James for
job.
you, though, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's like, oh no, I think you'll find it's this.
I know, right?
No.
I do like the tag. The
Hey.
artist formerly known as Crack, though.
Oh yes, yeah, that is a cracking tag. That. So,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I'm just going to click on it now to see how many.
There's none of them.
Oh, literally this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Where?
That is a shame. But anyway,
No, it just makes it an original.
Mm-hmm.
hey, yeah, it does. It
It's
does.
a classic.
Okay, so this was inspired by an excerpt from The Hobbit, and I'm guessing this would place it in between the Desolation of Smaug and the Battle of the Five Armies. I'll read it verbatim, just so we've got a bit of background here. So here we go. You! Cried Thorin, turning upon him and grasping him with both hands. "You miserable hobbit! You undersized burglar!" he shouted as a loss for words, and he shook poor Bilbo like a rabbit. "By the beard of Durin, I wish I had Gandalf here. Curse him for his choice of you. May his beard wither. As for you, I will throw you to the rocks," he cried and lifted Bilbo in his arms. "Stay, your wish is granted," said a voice. The old man with the casket threw aside his hood and cloak. "Here is Gandalf, and none too soon, it seems. Put him down and listen first to what he has to say." "You all seem in league," said Thorin, dropping Bilbo off at the top of the wall. "Never again will I have dealings with any wizard or his friends. What do you have to say, you descendant of rats?" And apparently this fic is what happened next.
Yeah, let him fucking have it.
Sorry, old man with the cat. Is he just carrying a coffin with him, like over one arm, alone, before he just walks in? That's pretty metal.
Yeah, I think he might be in disguise.
Oh.
I will say.
Okay, so they were all just sat around, right, having this angry conversation. There's an old man who they thought was just a random old man. Old man pulls off the disguise. He was Gandalf all along. Girls heard you were talking shit.
I will say I haven't read The Hobbit. I think this is after Bilbo goes into the Lonely Mountain, though, and when he comes out, and then there's a battle. But anyway,
Mike, can you remember?
Yeah, I've got to say, going by what Nick read, I would imagine this is once they've actually taken the Lonely Mountain back. By saying about the wall, they imply that they're inside the walls shortly before the Battle of Five Armies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
because at this point, Thorin's sort of falling in love with all of his fucking jewels and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he goes like full. Right now, I'm here. I'm the king. Yeah. You have to do what I say. From what I've sort of read.
Yeah, anyway. That's the impression I get.
Yeah. So it leaves us with Bilbo does have something to say. Bilbo is quite angry with Thorin Oakenshield, and he kicks him in the shins.
As you do.
And Thorin grunts in pain, and he doubles over, and he leans forward a bit, tries to make a grab for Bilbo, but Bilbo just fucking headbutts him in the nose. Oin's there, like with a tissue, is like trying to give Thorin a tissue, and anyway, Bilbo just fucking goes off on him. "For once in your long life, Thorin Oakenshield," he said, "listen properly, because I do have something to say, and it is this." And he waits, and Thorin's like, "Who the fuck is this guy to talk to me like this?" Bilbo Baggins, however, was half took and had spent some months on the road with this particular surly dwarf. So he poked him in his chest. And if you can sort of imagine this next line of dialogue with Bilbo poking him in the chest with each, with each sort of thing he says, "You are the stupidest dwarf alive. You did not do this on your own, Thorin Oakenshield, and I venture to say that you couldn't have done it at all without a whole host of non-dwarfs, you stubborn fool." So, yeah, Bilbo has had enough of Thorin's shit, and he's really fucking going for him at this point. One is Gandalf. You would not have made it past the trolls, various orcs, or goblins without him. So afterwards, Bilbo thinks it's a good idea to go back to poking Thorin in the chest again.
He's lost his shit.
So what are you good for?
Yeah.
What are you good for?
That's basically it. And finally, O King of the Stupid Mountain, if it were not for me, Azog would have killed you. If it were not for me, you would still be rotting in the Elf King's dungeon. Not for me, you would have none of this gold that has made you so greedy.
Hey, dick.
Bilbo he's running out of steam with this at the minute. He's out of breath, panting, stuff like that.
On a roll.
Yep, Thorin's like looking at him, and he opens his mouth. Bilbo just holds up his hand. He's like, fucking no. You're not doing this shit to me. You would have nothing, or you'll be dead, or you'll be dead with nothing, Thorin. So when those you have trusted this long way and these many months tell you that you are a stupid idiot who is making a stupid, idiotic mistake, it will behoove you to listen to them. Stamps his foot. And there is plenty of gold to share, Thorin Oakenshield, king under the brain-draining mountain. So, yeah, fucking Bilbo's got a lot of sass. And, Thorin's like a bit taken aback by this. He just turns away, says to Gandalf, "Take him."
Is anyone else imagining Scrappy Doo here? With Gandalf picking up Bilbo
kind of that.
And Bilbo going, "Let me at him."
I'm thinking that, basically. But anyway, Bilbo's off, climbs up and over the wall, down to where Gandalf is standing, and, Gandalf gives him a hug. Thorin gives a signal to a few of his company. They go down to get some gold, and Thorin very kindly agrees that the men in the elves will have the gold, their share of the gold, and then they'll go home. Should they wish to parley in future, I hope they shall not bring an army, but if they do, we shall be ready. I'd really like to imagine at this point that at least one of the dwarves sort of like looks into the camera, like Office style, when he says that. Because this basically means that the Battle of Five Armies doesn't happen. So, as for the Hobbit, his share shall stay here in the mountain. Like Bilbo expects this, he's maybe gone too far with his outburst. And then Thorin speaks again directly to Bilbo. Get yourself to the Shire, Bilbo Baggins, and draw up your affairs there as best you can. Make a will and dispose of your home and your belongings, for before this next summer turns to autumn, dwarves will come to escort you back to this mountain. Like, Bilbo is fucking terrified at this point.
Well,
and Thorin's eyes narrowed. Yeah, his voice thundered low and rolling down the mountain. And when you return, Bilbo Baggins, you will make amends for your words this day, and you will marry me forthwith.
What?
Sure.
For none but a spouse will speak to me that way, so a spouse you will be.
What? That was a twist.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
That honestly, I was reading this. I mean, I didn't get a lot of time to choose a fic. I know we had 3 weeks, but work has been fucking kicking my ass. However, it turned out to be quite a happy accident, but because I read this and I got to the last line and just burst out laughing. So if Bilbo's words were true on that day, well, so did Thorin's prove to be. And if the fights were epic, well, so was the makeup sex.
Excellent.
And then they lived happily ever after, king under the mountain and his beautiful hobbit husband.
Aww.
So I choose to believe that this is how all dwarven marriage proposals go. You just argue at each other until you kiss, and then marriage happens.
So it's like a very fast enemies, friends to lovers.
I really feel
Enemies
that
to
that would
friends to
suit the
lovers,
dwarves as like a standard thing.
The traditional marriage argument.
And Bilbo didn't know this, and he accidentally proposed and said yes, and then Thorin said yes, and then this happened, which of course means that Lord of the Rings can't happen because Frodo wouldn't be in the Shire.
Well, wouldn't he?
Sorry,
Yeah, he
Frodo
would.
would be in the Shire, but Bilbo wouldn't be.
So
the
that's
ring
true.
wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Well, they might go home, they might visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
that's
never
true.
know. Yeah,
I mean, he's planning to sell the
is
house, but they
Thorin?
might eventually buy it back again with all that dwarven gold.
Yeah, I mean, is Thorin still alive at the beginning of Lord of the Rings?
Uh,
No, he dies in The Hobbit.
He does die in the
Oh, right, okay.
This is a fix-it.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
this
because the
is.
Battle of Five Armies doesn't happen, so Thorin
Yeah,
doesn't die.
it doesn't happen. Yeah.
So Thorin would be alive when Lord
Oh,
of the
yeah,
Rings
that's
happened.
true, yeah.
So Bilbo and Thorin would
Oh,
just
well,
take the
sure,
ring
yeah.
together and drop it off. Probably.
Yeah, because they are closer to Mordor than they are the Shire,
Mhm.
aren't they? If they're at the Lonely
Yeah.
Mountain.
No,
So
they're not.
yeah. Oh, they're not.
Well, the mountains further north.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mordor, south.
Mhm.
Because as we all know, the worst places are further south.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Jim, you live in the south.
Yeah, but the worst place is Antarctica.
Oh, okay. Like London times 1,000.
Yeah. Only cuter because there's penguins.
Slightly cheaper
Yeah.
to rent there.
It is only just slightly cheaper to rent in Antarctica.
It's the amenities, really.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I didn't see that twist coming.
Yeah, that's it. Very rarely do I find a fic which pulls its punch until like literally the last line, and then delivers it fucking beautifully. Because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, this is a good one. Thank you, Salvia G. Apologies that I said your name was Saliva G earlier.
Again, you're telling
I
on
was-
yourself. You
I
can
was
edit
gonna-
that out.
Or I'll cut both bits out. We'll see. So, Mike, what have you been reading?
So we actually covered this one on the podcast
Okay.
briefly. Well, it's the Bombadil Goes Boning. So it's the poem.
Oh.
Red Bombadil Goes Boning.
I kind of thought you'd read that.
Purely because I'll post it in chat just so you guys can take it if you
Okay.
post. But the idea was, so Bombadil's one of the people, a lot of people know you hear him, but nobody knows that about him. But that's kind of the canon take on Bombadil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just a really merry fellow that just humbles around the world. And I imagine that this fic is why he's such a merry fellow. Essentially.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Just for Grace's benefit, Tom Bombadil is not in the films.
Oh.
So it's not really much to my benefit because I haven't read it.
Yeah, so
just
these
thought I'd
are...
mention that
Yeah,
Tom
he's
Bombadil-
in the film you haven't watched.
Okay, that's great.
Fair. I could have sworn you'd seen
Excellent.
Lord of the Rings, Grace.
I've seen all the films. I just don't remember any of them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
I saw all the Lord of the Rings films when I was very young. And then I saw the Hobbit films when I was older. But obviously my memory of that time is sketchy because I thought I went to see it with you, but I didn't. It was someone else called James.
I remember that now.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've been over this.
Okay.
We said this last episode.
So, Bombadil Goes Boning.
Yeah, so basically what I've done is I've read through the poem, which, to be fair, is remarkably well written for what it is.
Okay.
It's written by Exopotamie. All I've done is read through it and basically made some notes because I was surprisingly impressed by... Well, they got a lot of the things right, but also so people can read the poem with little tidbits of information.
Oh, okay.
So the idea... Bear in mind, I did this last night about 10 o'clock as well, so you can't give
Oh my
them
god.
much more credit than Grace.
Am I the only one prepared? Okay.
So Tom, within the world, not many people know. Well, people bump into him, but they don't really know what he is. They don't know if he's human. They don't know if he's what is he. All the people seem to believe is that he's debatably the oldest living thing in existence in Middle Earth.
Okay.
But what is he?
okay.
Yeah. So,
No, but what is he?
well, we don't know.
Oh. Well,
So
that's...
Tolkien didn't
Well, is that
clarify.
probably why he didn't appear in the films?
No, he's in the book. It's people.
Yeah, but like...
It's just like a mystery. He would present as a middle-aged fat bloke.
Right,
Imagine Santa, but he's blue rather than red.
right.
That's Tom Bombadil. Give him a leprechaun hat. That's Tom.
Okay.
That's Tom Bombadil. But he's kind of a weird bloke in that he can literally defeat ancient evil by singing at them.
God.
But
And he's a
then,
bard.
They should have put him in the
Where the
films.
fuck was he?
but then the next time you see him, he'll just be wandering around the fucking meadow singing nonsense to himself.
I see.
So,
Okay.
so he's basically
Whoa,
he's
God.
like some sort of god, but he's probably got bipolar. It's like-
It sounds like he's above like the squabbles of like the kingdoms.
Honestly, that's the best fucking description I've ever heard of Tom Bombadil.
Because I mean, he's even mentioned in the Council of Elrond before the Fellowship set off. Because they're thinking of
okay.
using Tom because Tom interacts with Frodo and the gang. Because on their way to Bree, I believe it is, they get lost in the Barrow Downs, which is it's where all the people are fucking buried and shit. And he gets attacked by a Barrow White, and Tom Bombadil saves him, takes him back to their house. He meets Tom Bombadil's wife, Goldberry, who I will mention as his poem mentions quite a bit. And while he's there, Tom Bombadil isn't influenced by the ring.
Ah, okay.
You know, people bring up the Eagles as the thing they could have done that. Like Bombadil could have just fucking skipped there, sang at Sauron, blew him up, and then tossed the ring in. But he just probably didn't take his medication, so he couldn't do it at the time.
To be fair, I'd
So
want to
Tom
see that
Bombadil
film.
was off his meds, and that's why.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, bloody hell.
Tom Bombadil, he's just a fucking nutcase. Like, he meets his wife, Goldberry. Now, Goldberry isn't exactly human either. She's described as being a daughter of the river. Which, people tend to believe she's some sort of like forest spirit, whatever the fuck. But if you go by Exopotamie's poem, she's also got massive tits and there's a bit of slag. Right? But she's made her own house out of water lilies. See if you can imagine that. That's canon, by the way. That's not the fucking poem.
Are the massive tits
Yeah,
canon as well?
yeah, I think it was.
No. Well, I don't. Well, this is the thing. If she's a forest spirit, she could probably do what she fucking wants.
They're never mentioned.
But I'd always imagine this as something like an elfy-looking woman. And as we all
So
know,
we can't
elves
rule
don't have
out
big
the
boobies.
massive tits.
I don't know. I don't think elves have big knockers.
Okay.
I mean, it could be wrong. If any listeners disagree, feel free
yeah.
to write in and say elves.
If anyone has
elves
opinions
have
on elf
big
tits,
titties.
write in. We'd love to hear them.
But
I suppose this is like high fantasy. The boobs can be as big as you imagine them,
yeah.
or as small as you imagine them.
But also, we were talking about weddings before, how we imagine a dwarf wedding. Tom Bombadil, how he married Goldberry was, I think he'd been kidnapped and captured by some random critters within the forest, and Goldberry appeared, grabbed Tom by the beard, pulled him under the water lilies where she kept him. He eventually ordered her to let him free. The next day, he came to the river woman and asked, the river woman being Goldberry's mother, and asking her if she can marry her daughter. And they did so in the old forest where all the people and all the badger folk watched them.
Wow.
So, yeah, basically just lots of drugs.
He sure does.
It does sound like a hippie fantasy.
It's just, like I say, he's just fucking mental, but I don't see how you can really...
It sounds like my brother. It sounds
Tom
like the
and
kind of
everything.
shit my brother would get up to.
To be fair, I did read a parody called Board of the Rings, and yeah, in that, Tom Bombadil is just a fucking crackhead.
Oh my
He
god.
never enough is in fucking canon, to be fair. Just...
Yeah. He's far too happy to not be on some mind-altering substance.
See, now I'm imagining
but-
Super Hands if they cast him in any of the films or TV adaptation that's upcoming.
Yeah, please, yeah, he
I
needs
think
to
it
be
would
cast
work
as
well.
Tom Bombadil, definitely.
Yeah, the actor who plays Super Hands from Peep Show. I don't know his real name, forgive me, but he should play Tom Bombadil. Just be like, "Hey, do you want some crack?"
Yes.
So there's a
man.
couple snippets from the poem I've taken aside and added my notes to add further lore intrigue to those reading the poem.
Okay.
So,
You're really getting into this, aren't you?
no, I'm mostly blagging it, mate, to be honest with you.
You know, do you remember
Well-
back in English Lit, when you would have to do Shakespeare, there'd be like the original Old English writing, and then there'd be sort of an equal long paragraph on each side on each one. I'm imagining that's what your notes look like right now.
Yeah, just slightly less effort, to be fair.
Only slightly.
Only slightly. I made a Google Doc for it. I just jotted stuff down. So in the poem, it mentions one of Tom's kinky tastes included a swan wing feather. This to me would imply that Tom either visited or settled the Principality of Dol Amroth in Gondor, because they have a big thing about swans.
This
Wow.
The lore
This is
tidbit.
very in law, isn't it? This is heavily recited.
Well, I do try.
Bloody hell.
There's a
Okay.
bit here that I imagine everybody would like. It says, "Huh, fair Goldberry, with your tits a heaving. Why not come with me and leave off your weaving? I'm quite flexible, alive, and very limber. Better than your dildos made of porcelain and timber."
Oh, you don't want a timber
No.
dildo.
What I say to that, and exactly, yeah, you don't want a timber dildo. However, as we
mean-
know, Goldberry is a
Timber,
river spirit.
timber's just wood. You can polish it and stuff.
Yeah, but
God.
I don't know. But the thing is, she
You're just
made
jealous.
a house. She made her own house out of lilies. So
Yeah,
a dildo's
exactly.
probably made of lilies. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I don't know. It's up to the craftsman, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't know. So imagine if you can make a house out of fucking lilies. You're not going to use what you would have made your house out of to make a fucking dildo, would you? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. Like,
And that's a really weird
like,
upcycling.
if you're able to like make a whole fucking working house out of lilies, then surely you've got the credentials to make yourself something better than any dick could ever do.
New from Love Honey.
But if you imagine this object that's better than any dick, Grace.
Right.
It's not made of fucking timber, is it?
It's personal preference, mate.
No, yeah, but it's not made of fucking timber, is it?
Well, why is it called wood?
What do you mean, why is it called wood?
Why?
Why is it called timber?
Oh, this is.
I don't know. I was imagining if you're gonna put that much effort in, you don't just use timber, do you?
I mean, what do you have available to you?
Well, she can make a house out of fucking lilies, Grace.
I know, and she's obviously making porcelain and stuff.
But where the fuck did she get porcelain from, Grace?
I don't know.
Doesn't
Clay.
make sense.
It's clay, you dickhead. You can get it out of the earth. It's clay.
Yeah, but she's got lilies. You can make a house out of lilies. Why is she using basic bitch shit to make a fucking dildo?
I don't think porcelain.
That's my argument.
You can class as basic bitch shit.
Which is not canon.
I'm sure Royal Dalton would have something to say about that. Why are you so angry about it?
Do you think that Minas Tirith has a sex shop?
Yeah.
It's her house, mate. It's obviously her selling it.
Well, they do call Minas Tirith the White City, so I mean, you wonder why.
Well, yeah.
So I reckon there's a sex shop.
You from Minas Tirith Industries, the brick dildo.
So just further to the west, there's a place that build. You know, like the machines you ride.
No.
I can't. Like the automated ones.
Oh,
what, like teacups?
No, not like teacups. Like the one we found in that Phoenix Wright episode.
The one that was more powerful than an
Yeah, I cannot remember its name. Either
way.
Yeah.
Was it the... Oh...
It's called like the Goliath or something.
Oh, fuck's sake. I was going to say the Invader or what. No,
It
what
was.
it called?
I think the Invader was it.
It was a name like that. Yeah.
Right, fine. We'll move on to a less controversial snippet.
Either way, I was going to say, the shop is called the Riders of Rohan.
Hey!
Yeah. You're welcome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, fucking well done, mate.
That's what I was lining up.
So now we've all agreed. So now we've all agreed that she would obviously make a dildos out of lilies, like any fucking common person would. How dare you? We'll move on to "Ho, fair Goldberry, with your breasts a jiggling," cried Tom, disengaging, followed by much wriggling. "Now to the Barrow White, poor, deprived and horny. It is up to us to pleasure him for a little money."
So Bombadil's a fucking pimp.
Yeah.
Wow.
What I find interesting here is, so, you know when Tom Bombadil in the Fellowship saves Frodo and the gang from the Barrow Whites?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He steals a pendant from one of them. That's what he takes as his payment. He takes it from the Barrow White.
Bloody hell.
I imagine that Barrow White owed him money from shagging his missus. Because to be fair, Tom just turns up while they're there. They're kidnapped by the Barrow White. Tom appears out of fucking nowhere.
It was just
not a coincidence, is it? He was on there picking up money. Yeah, he was on there picking up fucking what he's owed from when letting this Barrow White shag his lass.
He's here to collect his debts. And Frodo just happened to be there with the one ring.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think many pimps would do a spot of life-saving while they're out collecting payments.
I mean, if they're there.
So, I mean, fair play to him. He's got his priorities right in one moral sense, but not in the other.
Yeah, that's a. I don't know. I could see pimps doing something like that. Like if you're there to collect money, it just happens that you needed to save someone's life. You're like, yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone.
You just happened to save 4 midgets while you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell that none of us have had dealings with the criminal underworld?
Except Grace.
At last, Tom and Goldberry were free to be together. She put on her shiny thong. He put on his leather. She thought his whiskers scratched, even though it was odder. Even the.
Was that a sound effect?
She thought his whiskers scratched, but what was even odder was during her orgasm, she exuded water.
Oh, Goldberry's
squirter.
She's a squirter.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well,
which makes sense as a water spirit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. See?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shut up.
Yeah, in the entire poem, so them two bang several times. They also bang Barrow White. And they also do something kind of weird to Old Man Willow. That's
What's he done to deserve this?
specific. Yeah, but what's interesting is Old Man Willow is an N. Kind of.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, he sort of is.
Is
not-
he a
it's not
tree
just an-
or is he not a tree?
Well, he's a tree, but he's not a walking
Wait.
tree. He's just a sentient
To tree or not to tree?
Oh, shut up.
Well, either way, she sat down on his branch, if you know what I mean.
Oh, for fuck.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's it. It must be personal preference then if she's deliberately sitting on wood. Checkmate, you dickhead.
Maybe she's got a splinter king.
No, I just think it's weird, and I'm not concerned about her preference. It's fucking Old Man Willow I think they're abusing. Save the trees!
She
Save the
is.
trees!
Thick thighs save lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's also Tom also fucks the tree as well, by the way.
Oh, bloody hell.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, the entire time it's both of them. They just go around shagging.
So Old Man Willow's just
That's-
minding
that's
his
the
own
poem.
business, and
Yeah,
then
pretty
suddenly,
much.
like, these fucking rascals are on him, and he's just like, what? Okay.
Yeah, I love the actual summary of this. Is Tom Bombadil persuades Goldberg to leave the river and live with him. On the way, they stop to visit other inhabitants of the forest. Okay, it's just part about Tom Bombadil in verse,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly
Really well written.
Yeah, it's
They've done well.
just quite quality. To be fair, it's a bit weird, but quite quality. You know what I mean?
It's, I would like to thank Mike for out English litting all of us.
What by badly reading a poem about fucking some bloke
By
on
comparing it to the law as well.
Yeah, by actually keeping notes and tying it into the rest of the fucking law. So
Well,
it was like listening to a comprehension that you had to do in like English lit. You know.
oh yeah, exactly like that, Jim. Nick.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't know. I think comedy's his own fucking film. Don't care.
yeah,
Yep,
I'd like to
no,
see more Tom
agreed.
Bombadil. Hopefully he's in Amazon's version that's coming out at some point.
I hope not.
Well, you know,
Yeah, let's not talk
Yeah,
about that.
talk about it.
yeah, it's probably going to be pants in it.
I mean, I imagine most of the things I've written here require better writing than that show.
I mean, that's what we're here for, to find better writing.
Hey!
And I
Yeah,
think we're doing
that's
so.
it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that poem specifically, like, legitimately impressed me. I'd read it, but I couldn't give it credit. But yeah, it's kind of depressing though about an old Barrow White who's poor, deprived, and horny though. Yeah, I imagine that shit goes wherever you die.
Do you think all the Barrow Whites are horny?
I don't know, but yeah, but then that makes them more odd shit because like people go missing in the Barrow Downs.
Yeah.
It's
They
like
get
what
pounded.
actually happens to them. It's like you imagine they just got killed by zombies, but it's like no, they're kind of getting banged by zombies now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? It's kind of
It's,
worse.
It's every now and again somebody turns up in the neighbouring town, like shivering, naked, covered in a white spooge.
Oh, that's not a word I want to hear again.
Where the fuck have you been? It's too painful to remember. Please
No.
don't ask me.
I also like how Barrow Downs is on the border of Bree, and
Yeah.
the Bree Town Watch, or they're the Watch, so the Watchers. So part of their job is to watch the Barrow Downs, so they're probably watching people getting banged by zombies.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
Are we going to do anything about this?
What
Nah.
can we do?
Watch.
No, not our
We've
fucking
only got
job.
so
What
many
can we
wooden
do?
dildos to give them.
If I could just quote King fucking what the fuck's it called? King Theoden for a minute.
Okay.
What can man do against such reckless hate?
Oh, brilliant.
Hell.
Oh, well.
Okay, so I read a fic called Wildflowers by Thorin Smut.
Oh, we know what they're into then.
Yeah, so this fic is not about Thorin. It's set during the Lord of the Rings timeline. But,
What?
I know, right? This is actually an AU of an AU, or AUception, as I would like to call it from here on out.
Wow, are we
What's an AU?
Alternate
Alternate
universe.
alternate
universe.
universe?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm the Tolkien expert, not the fucking fanfic expert.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
So, Thorin Smut started
We're the
a series.
hosts.
So Thorin Smut started a series. It began shipping Thorin and Azog. I believe I'm pronouncing that name right.
Sounds right to me.
So Azog is the big white orc from The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got like a hook for a hand and all that sort of thing. He's pursuing them as they go on their unexpected journey. And
The Warg Rider.
yeah, I think so. But in that fic, he doesn't just ride wargs. He also rides Thorin. And they develop
Thorin. Oh, right, okay.
From what I can tell, they develop a romance, and that sort of changes the course of the story. Because by the time we reach the Lord of the Rings era, the orcs have created their own free society. Like, orcs have split. There's the orcs that are still with Sauron, and there's the free orcs that live in the south, in a city
Oh, okay.
called Gundabad, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, is there truth?
Yeah,
to...
Gundabad's a
Gundabad.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are free orcs in Lord of the Rings.
I don't know if you want to say free, but Gundabad is a thing, and they do their own thing, as opposed to Mordor.
I see.
Okay.
So, in this version of the story, there are free orcs. The orcs also join the Fellowship. They sent... At the beginning, when the Fellowship's put together in Rivendell... I need to say Riverdale then, that's a very different story. They,
Now, there's another
I would also read that. So,
Yeah.
there's Legolas, there's Gimli, there's Aragorn, there's Boromir, and there's someone called Iskal. Or Ilskal, I think that is. Iskal is Azog's granddaughter.
Oh, okay.
So I imagine she looks sort of fairly similar. And because of this, do you remember Boromir's last stand in the Fellowship of the Ring?
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yes.
the big battle with the Uruk-hai. Boromir is fighting them off while the hobbits are trying to leave.
Yeah, that's Sean Bean doing what
Sean Bean had a
does
really cool
in-
last stand in the Fellowship
Yes,
of
he
the
did.
Ring. Well, that isn't quite a last stand in this story.
Oh, okay.
And that's sort of where we pick up. So, Boromir's taking the arrows like a champ. He's fighting along. But Iskal is also there. And she manages to take out... Is it Lurtz, I believe, is the Uruk-hai?
Yeah.
So yeah, she manages to kill him. And goes like, I'm sorry, brother. You should have been free. He yells, there is no freedom.
So she just steals Aragorn's fucking role.
She steals Aragorn's role, yes.
Hey.
But it does mean that because she was there faster, Boromir survives. And,
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's only got one arrow in it.
yeah. He only managed to get one shot into him. It's one very brutal shot, but still only
Yeah.
one. So, the rest happens fairly similarly. When Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli arrive, Boromir sends them after the hobbits. It's at this point I should mention, Boromir is very much in love with Merry and Pippin.
Whoa, what?
They've been a three-way couple this entire journey,
Okay.
which I can sort of see. There's a lot of bits where he's like, "Oh, those sweet hobbits" in the first film. Well, they've taken that to a more logical extreme.
A more logical
And now I believe is the term
logical
is
extreme is not something I've heard before.
yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I believe the term is thruple.
Yes, they were a throuple. So, Aragorn is sent off to go find the hobbits. Legolas yells they're taking the hobbits to Isengard at some point. But this story is not about them. The story is about Boromir.
Okay.
Boromir is left with Iskal, who is also wounded. Boromir asks for a mercy killing, but Iskal is having none of it. She's like, no, we're going to get you through this. And he's like, no, I don't want your weird orc medicine. And there's sort of a back and forth.
Medicine, bro.
So orcs have regenerative blood.
Oh, okay.
Not like
Alright.
like Wolverine, but it'll help you heal. And Boromir's like, no, I don't want any of your orcish shit in me. But she,
I don't want your STDs.
yeah, no, he says that.
Fucking hell, okay.
Yeah. So infection disease, Boromir protested, even if it does. Is Ilskar's nostrils flared. I'm not diseased, she finally said, as she pressed the blood into another wound, binding it quickly. You will live, son of Gondor. You will see Minas Tirith again, if I have to carry you to it.
Oh,
That's nice
okay.
of her.
Yeah.
And Boromir goes, they would kill you on sight. I know, Iskal answered shortly.
Why is she being so nice to him?
Because they're bros. They were in the Fellowship together.
Oh, okay.
Only he doesn't see her as a bro. He sees her as an orc, but she's trying to redeem orcs and that kind of thing.
Oh, I get it.
So yeah, he spends a bit of time complaining. She thinks she should have let him die in peace. And she's like, oh, what would Merry and Pippin say if they heard that? And he remembers Merry and Pippin, and that's his reason to live for a while.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
So the next few paragraphs cover a few months, and it's sort of a montage, to be honest, of them sort of living together, getting to know each other, all that kind of thing. Boromir starts noticing things about Iskall, like previously he thought her armor was all just spikes, but then he notices she's starting to sort of decorate her armor with flowers, and she keeps herself quite clean. It's all very decorated. And he starts to notice like a feminine beauty to Ilskal, despite her being this big, muscly lady.
Right.
And an orc.
And an orc. Yeah, she's got big pointy teeth.
Oh, so she suddenly starts wearing flowers, and he's just like, oh, so really she's a hippie. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, kind of. I think she'd been wearing flowers the whole time. He just hadn't noticed her before.
He was too racist to notice.
Oh,
yeah, genuinely. He's very racist towards orcs. And he was too distracted by Merry and Pippin.
Of course.
And Iskall points that out. And Boromir starts blushing. He didn't realise everyone knew. And he's like, oh, how did you know? And she's like, oh, well, it wasn't really a secret. You were quiet, but I could smell your coupling.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
To say. Thanks, Hannah.
So they were loud and smelly this whole time. I'm skimming over this. I should say, this is all very well written. Like, it's more of a gradual change as you read it, as Boromir sort of starts to treat Ilskal as a friend rather than just an orc. So Boromir's complaining that he's probably not going to see Merry and Pippin again. And it's at this point Ilskal snaps, and she points out that there was in fact another orc was taken as well. His name is Feel, with 2 eyes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And because there were 2 orcs in the party originally, and he was kidnapped too. The Uruk-hai are not going to treat him well, and yeah, she's pissed off that no one's thinking about his feelings either. And that's when we find out that Feel was Ilskal's lover as well.
Oh, so, no wonder she's pissed that. Yeah.
So she's miffed. Okay. So they continue traveling. They begin to bond. One night when they're camping together, Boromir hears something from her sleeping bag. Ilskal's quiet good mood lasted past the time they bedded down for the night. Boromir had spent most of his life among soldiers. He was familiar enough with the language of quietly quickened breaths in the night. He would have thought nothing of it, but she was a woman. It had never occurred to him that women might take their pleasure alone in the same way.
Oh, okay.
So, Ilskal is masturbating.
Ilskal's getting the job done.
She's cranking one out herself. And Boromir had never heard a woman do that. In fact, Boromir is very surprised at how, air quotes, unladylike she is. Because she wanders around the camp naked when her clothes are drying and that sort of thing. And
fair enough,
Boromir hasn't known that. He's grown up around soldiers. He's a manly man. And although he's known female soldiers, they'd normally sort of cover up.
He seems very sheltered.
He does.
For his role in the Fellowship, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Which leads me to my next point. So the paragraph after this, they're kind of close friends at this point. And Boromir asks, so about your love of Feel, were you not worried about getting with child? Because they were clearly also having sex during the Fellowship's journeys thus far.
Okay.
And this cracks Ilskal up. She's like, ha ha ha, no, he never entered me. And Boromir just goes, okay, so how did that work? And then Ilskal goes, let me show you.
Oh.
It's a wooden fucking dildo.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
So he had not finished the question. Delving into her belongings, she brings out a carved shape of a pale stone, bulbed on one end, and on the other, well, there's no denying it was carved to look like a cock. Boromir could feel his face heating in embarrassment as he looked at it. It looked small in her hands, but Boromir guessed it was around the size of his own. Ah, you've never seen one of these, Ilskal said. Her smile was not unkind, and Boromir shook his head. It works like this. So, she settles down on the stone she was sat on, and leans back, spreading her plump lips of her hairless sex. With the fingers of one hand, she guided the bulb end of it, rubbing it like...
Oh, she's putting it in.
Yeah, she's putting it in. So this part rubs inside me when it moves, and this part rubs my... it's what you people would call my pearl. And Boromir's confused. Pearl?
Fucking
Boromir
hell.
had never seen a woman like this. It had always been quick and quiet in the dark, not spread out before him. So, Ilskal is teaching Boromir about the clitoris.
Wow.
This right here, this is sensitive. It's like your cockhead. Have you never seen? She showed him the little nubbin of flesh nestled in the soft folds above her entrance.
I love how they're so specific. They say like entrance.
I know, right? Ugh. I don't know. I find this amusing.
So, but Boromir's, although by the sound of things, but Boromir is kind of into it, however much he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, like, I also just find it funny that Boromir is so inexperienced. I'm just imagining this giant muscle lady explaining to Sean Bean where the clitoris is. He's just like, oh, yeah. But yeah, she points to the cock end and goes, "This part is for my lover." And she's just grinning at him, and he's blushing. And then he realizes that he's reaching out to touch it without thinking about it. And and then he starts...
Oh, and he's like quickly pulls his hand away. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came
Pretty
over
much,
me.
like he starts stumbling. Goes, I must see to something, and then he leaves. And then he realizes there's nothing for him to check on. He left unarmed. He didn't even bring his boots, and he just has to come back to the camp shortly afterwards. I really like this depiction of Boromir as this awkward teen who's just like, what?
Yeah, just stumbling off and sitting somewhere while his boner goes down. Which is literally what he's doing.
He's suddenly realised what he's into. And, yeah. And he's also a bit confused, like, she's an orc as well, of all people. And he's feeling a bit conflicted because he's in love with Merry and Pippin. And he's like, oh, I mean, they could be dead. And so I don't want to cheat on them if they're alive. Who knows? I'm horny either way for this.
Fair enough.
And she's not like other girls, basically.
Well, yeah, she's an orc.
She's an orc. So,
I just like this picture of all the different orcs from Lord of the Rings. Like I can't imagine.
I know. Well, she's Azog's granddaughter, so she probably looks more like him.
It's not any better, Jim. You know what he looks like?
I do, but it's better than the orcs in the original trilogy.
Why? Because she's white, Jim. You fucking
no, because she's more humanoid. Like the orcs in the film were like goblin-esque almost, like 5 foot tall.
No, Jim. Those were the goblins.
I could have sworn the orcs looked pretty similar too. Oh well. Plus, the describer is bigger than Boromir, so I don't know. The orcs were normally smaller.
That's because it might be bulkier.
She strikes me more of like an Uruk-hai size, to be honest.
Yeah, but Azog was pretty big,
He
wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a big lad.
Man.
So, yeah.
So they're traveling along in the next paragraph, and Ilskal falls, and it's almost... Boromir senses it too. There's something weird going on in the air, but it affects Ilskal more, and like she sort of falls to the ground. And this is when she says, "It's gone." Boromir's like, "What? What's gone?" She's like, "Frodo made it. Like he must have done." Like it felt like there was a hand that I never knew was there, and it's been lifted. So we're now into the third film at this point. So Frodo has succeeded, and the orcs feel that Sauron's presence is gone. And at this point, they decide, okay, we should just go to Gondor, figure out what's going on. So they do.
Fair enough.
They start traveling to Gondor. They try and keep out of sight. This is still a long trip, though, because they're going from wherever they were in Rivendell all the way to Gondor. So
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, Jim, but I'm going to have to run off.
Oh, shit. I'm
Just
sorry.
a heads up. Yeah.
Mike, it's been a pleasure. You're going to miss the pegging scene.
Oh, what a shame.
I'm going to...
We'll tell
I'll
you what
tell you
happened.
all about it later, and maybe we'll record your reactions.
I
Who
appreciate
knows?
that.
We'll figure it out. But
Right,
no worries. Thank you for being here. And
No worries.
yeah, we'll hopefully hear
I'll
from you
see you
again soon.
again. Oh, certainly will.
Take care.
To the pit.
Okay.
Ta-da.
I will carry on then. So, yeah, they're traveling to Gondor. They're doing their best to avoid everyone, because other humans will probably kill Ilskal on sight.
Okay.
And orcs, who knows? Could be the free orcs, could be bad orcs. They don't really want to risk it.
Yeah, I think a few of the Fellowship, I can't remember who it was, but like after Sauron was defeated, I think they basically went round Middle-earth mopping up any,
Any remaining orcs.
Any orcs
yeah,
that were
that
left.
sounds like something
Yeah.
Legolas and Gimli probably did.
Yeah.
So they continue travelling on to Gondor. And we cut to another scene. We're getting close to the end, but they're travelling. They've been travelling all night, they're resting, and Boromir's just sat up, being sad. He's just thinking about Merry and Pippin. And I don't know if I'm going to see them again. We know Sauron's been defeated, but who knows, maybe Gondor was destroyed before that. We just don't know. I'm kind of sad about everything. Ilskal wordlessly reaches over and lays her hand on his chest. A warm weight to steady him for just a moment before she draws it back to herself again. So they were just sitting there, sleeping bags, and she just big spoons him, like right there.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. He's just like, I'll never sleep. She goes away again. Brief as it had been, he misses the contact. And then he turns to her and says, you offered comfort. And then he goes, oh, wait, no. No, I love Merry and Pippin. I can't do this. And Ilskal's just like,
I'm sure
well,
you got room for one more.
we could do. It would help me sleep too. Would your hobbits really blame you for seeking release without them? When you don't know what their fate is? They don't seem the jealous types to me.
Oh,
Boromir
so...
closes his eyes.
Oh, she's egging him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The memory of Merry and Pippin crawling into his bed wearing nothing but matched mischievous grins on their face is so clear that he could almost touch it. Had he not been able to he had not been able to resist them for long. When they told him he loved him, he had both been happy. They probably wouldn't have minded. And if they'd not survived.
Yeah, if they're dead, it don't matter, does it?
Yeah.
God.
Beside him in the moonlight, Ilskar was waiting for his answer. He's like, you know what? No, they probably wouldn't mind. Would you mind? And then her big hand was back to his chest. So, she says, I could use my hands on you and teach you how to use your hands or mouth for me. Or I could get my stone cock and... Yes, if you would, Boromir says.
If you would.
Yeah, he cuts her off at stone cock. And I like to believe there's like this enthusiasm in his voice. He doesn't
I
quite
was
say
hoping
it.
you'd say that.
Yes, like, yep, stone cock. Come on. I
Bloody
do
hell.
find it funny that she was willing to teach him how to use his hands on a woman.
Yeah, I mean...
They don't know for sure. They never say. But it's clear she assumes Boromir does not know how to pleasure a woman because he couldn't recognize the clitoris.
Well,
before.
I mean, that's a fair assumption, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
But-
if he's sort of going after Merry and Pippin,
Yeah.
you know.
He does
so-
mention he'd been with women before in this fic, but it was sort
What,
of
quick and in the dark. He doesn't
quick and
know
in
what
the
fuck
dark.
he's doing, does he?
Yeah. Exactly. So he's probably more familiar with hobbits.
Male hobbits.
Iskar goes, we do still have the blade oil.
Oh, so
Real
they're...
sword.
Oh,
Yeah, like the sword sharpening oil.
they're going to do this with the stuff that they use to stop their swords from rusting.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Guys, if you're listening, don't use blade oil or any sort of industrial lubricant of any kind.
It's funny we say
So-
this because recently a guy at my workplace made a carbon
Oh,
fibre
God.
dildo for his missus, and he polished it with regular polish. And they're like, what the fuck you think you're doing? And he was like, well, it's got to be nice. And it was like, no, mate, you're going to give her cancer.
Okay, two things.
Clean it.
First of all, you can buy those little packs where you can make a mold from your penis and, like, make your own dildo out of it.
Yeah, but you forget that laminators think they're God's gift.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He could have done that, but no.
Well, he wasn't going to because he wanted it made out of carbon fibre.
Secondly, the next paragraph, Boromir had used blade oil in this capacity for most of his life.
Oh!
This is a normal thing.
It might not be...
So
it might not be as bad as, say, using, I don't know, Castrol 10W40. You know?
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Or he's just built up a tolerance.
Yeah, it seems like blade oil is the standard lubricant in Lord of the Rings, which is interesting, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Grace, but I've been told olive oil was invented by the Greeks for exactly this purpose.
I think it was made for cooking, mate, but if you say so.
Who knows?
I'm sure food was far more important than lubing up for that.
We'll have to invite a historian.
Who told you this?
I can't. I'm sure I read it on the internet.
Was it someone
somewhere.
Greek?
No.
Was it Wikipedia?
It may have been Wikipedia.
Was it a random story on
It was
the
a random
internet?
Story on Reddit, yes. Hang on.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking...
Brief Wikipedia tangent. Olive oil.
We've got nothing to do with what we're doing.
It's not, no. But I need to know.
When I went to Greece, they're so fond of olive oil, like they had a picture of it being poured into a wine glass on a massive billboard, and all I could do was stare at it. Who's drinking olive oil from a wine glass? And my mum was like, that's red wine. And I was like, look at the bottle, and it had olive oil written on it. I was like, it's not right. God, they love olive oil. Well, the advertising campaign certainly does.
Besides food, it is used for religious rituals, medicine. The Spartans and other Greeks used oil to rub themselves while exercising in the gymnasia. Yeah, it was lube.
Fair enough.
What, rub themselves in the gymnasium? They're just...
Yeah, they want to look like
way.
glistening and manly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they want to glisten. That's got, I haven't got that much to do with...
Yeah, have you not seen 300?
Yeah, Wikipedia's not going to say they used it for bumming. They're going to phrase it more delicately.
Yeah, but then they'd use it for fucking anal penetration. They'd just say that, wouldn't they?
Apparently it's also used as a form of birth control.
That didn't work, did it?
Anyway, Boromir is concerned that it's because it's Uruk-hai oil that they're using, because it's stuff they salvaged after that battle at the end of the first film.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm having something even more orcish in me in a few minutes. So
Bloody hell.
He pulls his pants down. He lubes himself up. There was a tremble of nervousness in his hands as he idly stroked himself, stretching himself open. They bang. Go gently, Boromir requested.
Yep, they bang.
Please be gentle. She's like, I'm not going to hurt you. I want this to feel good for you. It will, he said.
Yeah, she's not very orcish, is she?
No.
No, she's just a decent person, isn't she?
Yeah.
That is true. She seems nice enough. He goes to kiss her, and she's like, no, babe, you are not going to like my teeth. Don't forget I'm an orc.
Wow.
So yeah, you don't want them
Fair
tusks while you're smooching. He's shocked at how stamina she is, but then he realizes it's not a real dick, so she can just keep going. And she does. I'll skim over the smut, but it is well written.
It's funny. Oh, it's still hard. Yeah, because it's made of stone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, idiot.
Yeah. So they bang. Once they finish, he realizes, oh yeah, she could just go forever. I'm trying to find if they cuddle
Stamina
or not.
and a stone cock will do that.
Stone cocks do not spend, he explained. They lay beside him. She lay down beside him, a wall of pale muscles, and he leaned comfortably against her as he cleaned up. He found his trousers after a little searching and tugged them on before spreading the blanket across them both. I needed that, Ilskal said.
Wow, so I guess they both enjoyed it.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
So, the next paragraph, they arrive at Minas Tirith, and They show up as pals. The guards come, and they're like, "Oh, who's this? I'm Boromir, and this is my orc. This is Ilskal, a free orc of Gundabad, a friend and an ally." And the guard's like, "Oh shit, you are Boromir. We thought you were dead." And so they don't want to let the orc in, and Boromir's like, "Well, I can't enter. The welcome you give Ilskal is the welcome you give me." And then they sort of debate this for a bit. Eventually they let her in after he sort of talks their way through. They go up into Minas Tirith and they meet his brother. They meet Boromir's brother, Denethor. He is sat on the steward's chair. This is how Boromir finds out his dad's died.
Hang on a minute. Boromir's brother is Faramir.
Sorry, he didn't find Denethor, he found Faramir. Apologies. That was me messing that up.
Yeah, Denethor's his dad.
Sorry, So the line is, but sitting on the steward's chair was not Denethor. And I read that as, sitting on the steward's chair was Denethor. I'm not doing well today. Sitting on the steward's chair was not Denethor. It was Faramir, and a tall woman with warrior's face and
Livery.
A tall, fair woman with a warrior's face and the livery of the Rohirrim at his side. So that's Éomer.
Yeah.
They get together, which is nice. They meet up, they weep, they hug. Bro, thought you were dead. Ilskal tended to my wounds. This is Ilskal, the Fellowship. Shit, yeah, I recognize her description. Thank you for looking after my brother. That's when Boromir twigs. Yeah, so if Faramir's heard of her, that means at least some of the Fellowship made it here.
Hey!
And that's when he hears Pippin's voice. They said that was Boromir. Boromir! And then Pippin's voice calls out. They run in. Two little guys. They come and hug him. One's dressed as a Knight of the Tower Guard, and Pippin is dressed as a Knight of the Tower Guard.
Yep.
And Merry is also dressed as a Rohirrim. And, they all hug. It's fairly happy.
Oh, good.
We're not quite at happily ever after just yet. Feel, the orc they were travelling with, is also there. Ilskal reunites with him.
Good.
Turned out he converted 3 of the Uruk-hai to their side.
Oh, good.
He just sort of talked them into joining the Free Orcs. And that's how they got out of that situation.
Yeah, Feel's been built with speech 100, by the looks of things.
Oh, yeah. Feel is clearly the bard of this party.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to join my team? Yeah, go on then.
And I'm going to have to build an orc bard at some point next time I get to play D&D.
Yes.
Aragorn's coronation is in a few days. Frodo and Sam are back. Boromir begs Frodo's forgiveness, because if you remember, Boromir tried to take the ring from him.
Yes.
And he was feeling super guilty about that. Frodo's pretty chill about it. He had laughed and said, "Yeah, sure, I forgive you." Aragorn's... So this next section, to me, reads like... You know in sports films, where where it does like the montage of where everyone is afterwards?
Oh, I see.
It sort of
Yeah,
reads
okay.
like that to me. Like, Boromir begged Frodo's forgiveness, and he gave it. Aragorn grew up to be the king he was meant to be.
Yeah,
Faramir's lady Éowyn they did well, and all this sort of thing.
That's it, like, Coach Smith retired with a happy heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, lived in scenic Nova Scotia until he died, that sort of thing.
It reads exactly like that to me. And then it cuts to Boromir, Merry, and Pippin in bed together, and they're sort of frolicking. Merry, make Pippin behave, Boromir says, as the hobbits pinch his bottom. That's impossible. He's gotten worse than ever, Merry said cheerily. They both work together to tip Boromir into the bed. Now, Merry and Pippin are tiny, and Boromir's a big lad, so that's an impressive feat. They squirm around for a bit, and Boromir says, "There's something I have to tell you. I love you, but when we were separated, I didn't know. I feared you were gone, so we were alone, and I lay with Ilskal." And Merry and Pippin are like, "Whoa, what? Wait, Ilskal let you have her?" Then Boromir goes, "No. She had me. She had this stone device." He mimed awkwardly. A very
Do you know what I think the mime was? I think it's, where you make a circle with your finger and your thumb, and then you put another finger through that circle.
I can see that. And Mary's like, oh, the kind with straps on or the kind that goes inside? So Mary knows this shit. Those are fun, Pip said.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, and they're like, oh, we have to convince her to do that again and let us watch. Or join in, Mary said. And Barbara's like, you do not mind? No, not at all. My turn. And then they start smooching, and then,
Bloody hell.
yeah, they all live happily ever after.
Oh,
They
that's
rebuild
nice.
Gondor. Ilskal returns to the south to retake Mordor. And he was home, he had his hobbits, he could not be more happy, is the last line.
Honestly, as Fix It Fix go,
It's a good fix-it. Yeah.
that was, this is a particularly good one.
There is only one thing I would change, just because I think it would be really funny.
Yeah.
I wish Boromir showed up slightly later and arrived during the coronation scene.
Okay.
You know, when Aragorn, where everyone's like bowing to Aragorn, and he's like, my friends, you bow to no one, all that sort of thing. I want Boromir to show up as that is happening and go, I lived, bitch. And then and that's the reunion. And they all just sort of meet up and they're like, yay, bros. And I think that would be really good. Especially if he says the words, I lived, bitch.
Yeah, definitely. After doing all the sort of pseudo Shakespearean stuff that they do all through the film, it's like, I live, bitch.
That would be perfect.
Fuck's sake.
As it stands, this fic is great as well. But in particular, that's...
Yeah, that was enjoyable. I never thought I'd enjoy a pegging fic, but there we go.
So this is part of the Free Orcs series that presumably does all the Hobbit and all of Lord of the Rings, but including the Free Orcs, which to me is very interesting. I will be exploring that in my own time.
Yeah,
because this is
it
a
does.
fascinating
Yeah,
universe.
it adds a new dimension, I suppose.
One thing I will say, Thor and Smut, the links at the bottom do appear to be broken. Because apparently, according to the
that's a shame. I wanted to see the fan art.
Yeah, there's a picture of Boromir in his flower crown. I skipped over that. Iskald does make him a flower crown. It sounds very cute. And there is a size difference chart here that I'm trying to load, but it looks like that's also not there anymore. One last thing before we wrap up. I skipped over the tags because I wanted to save those for later.
Okay.
So, additional tags. Blood, lots of blood, near-fatal injuries, scarification, distrust, growth of friendship, pegging, Iskal and Boromir, friends with benefits, Boromir is in love with his hobbits, someone had to peg Boromir's sweet Gondorian butt. And Ilskal's just the lady to do it.
just the lady to do it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I like the last two tags. The author regrets nothing, and everyone lives because Free Orcs fixes everything.
Yeah. The author shouldn't regret anything. They've done very well with this.
No, absolutely. It was brilliant.
So, 10 out of 10. Thank you very much for writing this story in Smut. I look forward to reading the rest of this.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So, yeah. Anything else you guys want to add?
I really don't know. I'm flagging.
So, what did we learn?
Yes, what did we learn?
Why did you ask that? Like, what?
What did we learn on our very own quest through Middle-earth?
I learnt that there are some very talented writers who do not have the rights to Lord of the Rings as an IP.
Yes.
And maybe they should. Like, I don't know what Amazon's putting out yet.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be as good as what Thor and Smut's put down.
Yeah, probably not.
So, maybe...
That's true. I think in the future, if it is possible, like, they should make loads of mini-series of things people have written and just put it out there for fun. I reckon it'd do quite well.
Yeah.
Like, even if it wasn't done...
Like a Lord of the Rings What If.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just, like, compile stuff they found on AO3 and be like, yes.
That would be good, yeah.
You just want to see the televised Bombadil Goes Boning, don't you?
Oh yeah, and I want it narrated by Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry, if you're listening to this, please get in touch.
Yeah, please
We
get
can
this
get you to
commissioned.
read Bombadil Goes Boning for us. That would be... Or anything. Like, if we find him a scat fic, that'd be good.
Oh god, yeah.
Well, I've learned that maybe the true ring was the friends that we made along the way. So, I'd like to say thank you to Mike for coming on.
Yes, thank you, Mike. I hope
and-
you're listening to what we said after.
Yeah, that's it, and out English litting all of us with his review of Bombadil Goes Boning. So yeah, maybe we'll have more guests later when we require a Sherpa for things that we don't really know about.
Yeah, so
What's a Sherpa?
it's like a mountain guide.
Yes,
Ah.
it was also a van made by British Leyland.
Okay.
That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. But you know,
You almost had a whole episode without talking about cars. We almost did it. You had to ruin it for everyone.
I'm sure there's been one in the past.
No!
It's funny you say that because I swear I saw one the other day, like literally round the corner is one, but I thought it was pronounced Shepper.
Oh, okay. No,
It's got it written on the front.
yeah, Leyland
and it's like
Sherpa. Yeah.
It's so weird.
So thank
Sorry,
you
guys.
for listening. everyone.
For the second time this day, I apologise, Jim.
Thank you. I'm sure
And I
it won't be the
apologise
last.
for the 8th time this day.
I'm sure it won't be the last. So,
No.
if you like the show, we have started a Patreon. You're welcome to join that. We do bonus episodes on those every other week that we're not airing.
Help us build a pile of treasure that Smaug would be jealous of.
Yes. For just £5, you can help us destroy the ring.
Yes.
Oh, fuck's sake.
And make sure...
Which,
the
oddly
hobbits are
enough,
not
is
taken
exactly what happened to
Isengard.
Boromir.
Yeah. Yeah, Boromir wanted to destroy a
£5.
ring, and he did, in the end.
Yeah.
The ring inside him.
Yeah, he destroyed his own ring. Well, he got Ilskal to do it, but there we go.
Yeah. A hobbit destroyed a ring, and so did an orc. But yeah, thank you for listening, everyone. Tune in next time. It'll probably just be the three of us next time. And we'll be back with more fan fiction in a different fandom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So until then, happy Mother's Day. If you forgot, it's already a week late, so sucks to be you. I think the American one is slightly later, so we're probably giving like an early warning sign for all of them.
Let's have a
maybe.
look. We're going to find like it's in fucking October or something like that. Oh no, Sunday 8th of May. So yeah. They've got like a month.
Americans
Yeah.
have got a month till Mother's Day.
Yeah, Brits,
Until then.
you're already too
Get
late.
ready.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're listening to
Should
this,
we
it's already
do
too
a
late.
MILF special for that one? Because we've got time.
Fuck's sake.
I suppose we
Celebrate
could
Mother's
do.
Day. We're gonna check the MILF tag.
We're going to look at all the mums on...
May the 8th is a Sunday,
On AO3.
so it might be one of our episode days. Let me just check this cal. Oh, we do have an episode on the 8th.
Oh, so we could do like a MILF special.
We could do the MILF special.
Yeah.
Talk about MILF.
The MILF.
Yeah.
You've been planning this for some
I
time,
thought of that
haven't
5
you? You just
minutes
needed
ago.
the opportunity.
No.
It's this is where Jim wants to confess that he's had this sexual attraction for many months towards Elastigirl.
What do you mean months?
Mums, he had an attraction
Yeah,
to
fair
Elastigirl
enough.
when he saw the first
Yeah. Who
Incredibles
isn't
movie.
attracted to Elastigirl? Like, look at her. She's dummy thick. What's not to love?
And she's lovely.
And
Yeah.
she is lovely. Absolutely. Support your local Elastigirls. I don't know what I'm saying here.
Local Elastigirl.
Oh god, as if there's like a fucking batch of them going around somewhere.
I hope they do another Incredibles film. The last one
They
was really
should.
good.
They shouldn't take 10 to 15 years, though, to do it.
No, but I have a weird feeling they will. And it's just like, oh...
There's actually not that much in the way on the MILF tag.
I'm willing to bet
This is more of a DILF sort
This
of
is a DILF website, yeah.
community.
Big
But
arrow,
it's just
arrow
shy of
energy.
2,000. But I will say the best match is one called Operation MILF. It is a
Right.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fic.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Between Kakuin and Mums.
Of course it's Kakian.
Yeah.
Oh,
The MILF Hunter is on a mission, and it'll take more than a team of highly qualified special agents to stop him.
so they're trying,
They're trying to stop
him.
him seducing all the mums.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I saw a meme going like, oh, so Kakian, you like MILFs? He's like, yeah, but do MILFs like you? And he's just looking away sadly like, oh.
Oh,
There's a point. Is it ever addressed that they like him back?
I hope they do.
I hope they like him back. I hope they think he's sweet.
Okay, well this is something for us to think about.
What am I
for
on
next
about?
time.
Right.
Okay,
I hope they bake him biscuits.
so that's all from us.
And bake his biscuits.
Yeah. They sure will. Okay, good night everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.